Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to our online webinar for the MBA information session. My name is Tim Alberg, and I'm the Assistant Director of Adult and Graduate Enrollment here at Elmhurst College. And I'm going to introduce you to the Director of the MBA program right now, Dr. Xiaopeng Wan.
Thank you for coming to the MBA information session, as Tim has mentioned. What I would like to do today is to tell you a little bit more about the MBA program here at Elmhurst College. Now, one of the first things I would like to touch on is what really makes us different. Well, if you take a look at the slide, you can see that we have little subtle hints on the side because the key motto of our program is getting things done. Now, traditionally, a lot of the MBA programs really focuses on helping you develop your analytical skills. They provide you with the theoretical foundations, and they help you figure out how to apply some of the tools that you have learned. But a lot of people find that when they get to work and when they try to apply what they have learned, or when they put together a plan and try to implement it, they realize that they run into a lot of resistance. That is what our program is trying to do. It's trying to help our students develop into a more effective decision maker, a manager, and basically trying to get things done. That's why if you take a look at our MBA programs, we have two key primary goals. The first one, just like any regular MBA programs, is to help you develop your analytical skills. But on the other hand, we also try to help you develop the skills that you will need to implement the solutions, the plans that you have developed. Now, in order to do that, you really need to have a lot of additional what we call the soft skills like communications, teamwork, and so on and so forth. So let's take a look and see how the MBA program here is set up. At Elmhurst College, the MBA program is just like any traditional MBA program. You will have the theoretical foundation so that you know how decisions are being made and what's the reason behind some of those decisions. And you'll learn how to apply this theory in the real world situation. But more importantly, we'll focus on how do you go beyond figuring out the applications, but how do you implement it? How do you put it to work? That's one of the things that a lot of people run into, as I mentioned before. They spend a lot of time and effort putting together the plans, and they think it's brilliant, but unfortunately, when they try to implement it, when they try to put it to work, they realize that they run into a lot of resistance. People are against it, people are not buying it, and so on and so forth. So that's what we're trying to do. Now, how do you accomplish that? Well, in order to accomplish that, we make sure that we develop certain skills in the MBA program for the students, or more importantly, help the students to continue to develop this kind of skills. So, for example, in today's world, working in team, it's going to be very important, and more importantly, the ability to communicate. That's one of the things that a lot of students run into trouble. They have a great plan, they know it works, they know it's going to be good for the company, but unfortunately, they couldn't really sell it. Okay, so that's where communication come into play. You have to be able to tell your story, you have to be able to sell your story, you have to be able to convince your target audience. And very important, you need to know who your target audience is, because depending on who they are, the way you approach things, your tone of voice and stuff like that has to be different. The other skills that we will make sure that students will continue to develop is the use of technology. Nowadays, because of all these distances and globalization, you'll be working with your teammates, maybe with your clients, not face-to-face, but in different continents, different time zones. And you also need to be able to take advantage of some of the technical, knowledgeable technological tools out there that will help you make decisions. Now, one of the things that we do focus quite a bit in the program is the use of Excel to build models to help you figure out what is the best solution. But more importantly, once you get those solutions, how do you make sense of it? How do you sell it? And then once again, that's back to communication. The other three things that we will also continue to help students to develop will be understanding diversity issues, understanding some of the ethical implications of the actions, and also be aware that what are some of the things that they need to know when you're dealing with clients, teammates from different parts of the world, and even different parts of the country with different cultures. Okay? So, in light of that, let me talk a little bit more about what the MBA program is like in terms of structure. First, the MBA program here at Elmhurst College, it's a part-time program, and it is made up of 10 courses in total. So we have 6 core courses plus 4 classes in an area of specialization. Now, the MBA program here at Elmhurst College is what we consider a hybrid program. Now, what do I mean by a hybrid program? Well, the first year, it's what we call a cohort environment, whereas the second year, when you're doing an area specialization, it is a non-cohort environment. What is a cohort environment? Well, with the cohort environment, that means that you will start with a group of your classmates, and we're talking about 15 to 20 because we want to keep the cohort small. And this cohort of 15 to 20 students will stay together for the entire first year through the 6 core classes. Now, with the first year, you really do not have a lot of flexibility in terms of the type of classes that you'll be taking and when you'll be taking, because the cohort classes are set up in such a way that one class built on top of another class. So you really need to follow a particular sequence of these classes. So there will be 2 classes in the fall, 1 class in J term, 2 classes in the spring, and 1 class in summer. Now, we will talk a little bit more about what these classes are in a minute. Now, with the cohort in the first year, for the fall, the spring, and the summer, classes will meet 1 night a week, and it will go from 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Now, basically what happened is this. For the fall and the spring semester, because you have 2 classes going on back-to-back, so basically you will have 1 class going from 6 to 8:10, and then the second class will go from 8:20 to 10:30. Same thing for the summer, but summer there's only 1 class, so you go from about 6 to 10 o'clock, but summer is only 8 weeks long compared to fall and the spring semesters, and those are both 16 weeks long. Now, right now, we have 2 cohorts running, 1 on Tuesday night and 1 on Thursday night. If you are admitted and enrolled in the Tuesday night cohorts, that means you'll be going to all your classes on Tuesday night in the fall, in the spring, and in the summer in the first year. Now, the J term is a little bit different because the J term is our interim semester between fall and spring. As the name indicated, it basically runs in the month of January, but because we have such a short period of time and it's basically a regular semester course, we have to meet at an alternative time. So these particular class in J term meets over 3 weekends. It starts with 1 Friday night, basically from 6 to 8, to provide you an overview of the content of the course, and then we'll go right into it Saturday and Sunday for 3 weekends in a row. So you basically have Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Saturday and Sunday. And classes actually go from 9 a.m. in the morning to 4 p.m. Now, I know a lot of you will look at this and say, oh my gosh, how am I able to sit in class for such a long period of time? Well, to be honest, this J term in the first year, it's going to be the most intensive class you're going to encounter in the MBA program, because it is a very long period in the classroom. You're going to be in class Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 4. And on top of it, if you have a 5-day work week, you really have no downtime in the month of January, because you'll be working 5 days, and then you'll be going to class Saturday and Sunday, and then be back to work Monday to Friday, and then back to school Saturday and Sunday for basically 3 weeks straight. And in between each of the sessions, there will also be projects and assignments. So it's going to be a very intensive semester. But the class is not going to be boring, because it is a decision-making tools class. So basically, it's learning about statistics, learning about the theory of optimization. So how do you best use your resources, and so on and so forth. Now, some of you might wonder how you're going to be able to stay awake in the classroom from 9 to 4 Saturday and Sunday. Well, this class is going to be a very problem-based, very hands-on, and using Excel most of the time. So you're not going to be sitting there just listening to the lecture. You will actually be working in small teams, discussing the scenario, and trying to figure out how do you solve the problem, and how would you make recommendations based on your solutions. So it's back to what we have said earlier. Communication, 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 because this is a very quantitative-oriented class, so there's going to be a lot of jargon, but you have to learn how to communicate your findings without using any jargons, because your target audience most likely will not be familiar with this kind of jargons. So let's take a look at how long it will take for you to complete the program. Now, if you want to, you can complete the program in as little as 18 months, but generally a lot of our students take up to 24 months. Now, in the first year, there's really not a lot of flexibility because of the cohort, but then once it comes to the second year with the area of specialization, you have a little bit more freedom in terms of the pacing of the classes. So if you felt that after the first year you were a little bit burnt out, you want to take it a little bit slower, you have the freedom of taking only one class a semester and stretch out your area specialization into 2 years. So you will complete the program in 3 years. On the other hand, if you felt like you're already going at full speed in the first year and you don't want to lose the momentum, well, you are more than welcome to take quite a few more classes in one semester and get your specialization done in maybe one semester or a semester and a half, because you can take some of your specialization courses in the summer and in January. Okay, so generally students can complete the MBA program in 18 to 24 months, because the core classes will be in the first year, elective classes will be in the second year. Now, in terms of the first year core classes, what are the type of classes that you will face? Well, in the fall, you will see management and accounting. In J-term, it's when you see the quantitative methods. In spring, it's when you will take marketing and finance. And finally, with summer, that's when you will see strategy. Now, for the fall and the spring, this is a tentative schedule. The reason for that is because for fall and spring, we flip the classes every year. So, for example, this fall, accounting is in the early slot from 6 to 8:10. Management is in the later slot from 8:20 to 10:30. Well, next fall, that will be flipped. So next fall, management will go first, followed by accounting. Same thing this upcoming spring, marketing will go first, followed by finance. Then the following spring, it will be flipped. So it will be finance first, followed by marketing. But they will be in the same on the same night. They'll be in the same classroom, so you're really not moving from one location to another location. Okay? So, what are the different areas of specialization? Well, we have about 8. So we have accounting information system. We have finance, general management, management of information system, management of people, which is basically the industrial organization psychology, the marketing research, and the supply chain management. Now, some of our area specialization, we basically piggyback them on the other graduate programs here on campus. So for example, if you choose to go with an accounting specialization, that means you'll be taking classes with the accounting students in the accounting graduate programs. Same thing with the IO Psych psychology. You'll be taking classes with students in the IO Psych grad program, same with supply chain, and so on and so forth. Now, which area specialization has been the most popular among our students? General management has been the top for a lot of our students. The reason for that is because the general management specialization is actually the one with the most flexibility. Because, for example, the finance specialization, the classes have already been chosen. You will take 2 specific finance classes in the fall, and you have 2 specific finance classes in the spring. There are no finance classes in J-term and in the summer. For general management, basically what you do is that you pick 4 classes from a long list of available classes. So basically anything that are available in all these other more specialized areas, you can take them. So for example, you can choose to take 2 accounting classes and 2 finance classes. So what that means is general management doesn't have to be in management. It's just basically a very general area of specialization, which allows you to really pick and choose the classes that best fit your needs. So maybe you want to start your own business, so it might not be a bad idea for you to take a look at some of the classes in the management area, some of the classes in the marketing area, some of the classes in the accounting, some of the classes in the finance, so that you can package the 4 classes that you think will best fit what you would like to accomplish. Now, in addition to the classroom's content, we also offer a lot of additional professional development opportunities to our MBA students. There are certain things that we felt so strongly about that we make it mandatory for our MBA students. So for example, we felt that communication is one of the key skills that our students need to develop. So all incoming MBA students have to attend a half-day-long oral and written communication workshops, probably 3 weeks into the first semester, so that they have the good foundation in terms of, what are some of the things that they need to be aware of when they are writing in the business environment and when they are doing public speaking. Because a lot of students didn't quite grasp the difference in terms of writing a research paper, writing a paper for your English class compared to writing a business memo or a report. You have to be short, you have to get to the point right away, and you need to get their attention. So we help students figure out, okay, what are some of the key things they need to be aware of, and then help them to continue to develop those skills along the way throughout the first year. And same thing, all students have to attend the team development workshop, and that is actually part of orientation. So we have about a 3-hour workshop helping students figure out how to work together as a team, and hopefully they will take that and continue to develop the skills throughout the time here at the college. Now, there are also a series of optional workshops. We have offered maybe 5 to 6 different Excel workshops throughout the first year, and we also have started offering PowerPoint workshops to help students develop the skills in creating more effective PowerPoint presentation. Now, the Excel workshops are not really workshops for people that have not used Excel before. These are basically workshops that help elevate the skills. So we talk about what are some of the tips and tricks. We talk about how do you analyze data using pivot table, how do you create an effective chart, how do you create more complicated formulas so that you can automate some of your tasks. So these workshops, whether they are mandatory or whether they are optional. By the way, the optional workshops generally are held on a Saturday morning, and they usually offer maybe once a month. Now, these workshops are all free of charge to our students. So when it comes to the optional workshop, information will be provided in advance, and if students are interested, they will sign up. They'll sign up for it, and then materials will be distributed to them prior to the workshop. Okay, and there are also speaker series hosted by the CB Alumni Association that are open to all the MBA students. So we have, lectures on doing business in China and, professional development in the organization and so on and so forth. And there are also a number of alumni events that offer the opportunities for the MBA students to get to know MBA students in the other cohorts, MBA students in the second year taking the specialized classes, and the recent grads, the alum, faculty, and the community. So the events that we have held in the past include like a golf outing in the fall semester, homecoming in October. We have done the Chicago Blackhawks outing in November, and we also have the bowling outing. Generally, the bowling outing take place a week after the JTRM, so to let the students blow off some steam because it's been a pretty intensive semester. So, what is the admission requirement to the MBA program? First, you need to have an undergraduate degree by the time you start the program. Now, you do not have to have an undergraduate degree when you apply, but you have to have your undergraduate degree by the time you begin the program. Now, we are also looking for 3 or more years of work experience. The reason for that is because we felt that students in the MBA program not only will learn from the instructors, but they will also learn from the classmates. So we need students to have that work experience so that they can draw on them during classroom discussions. And they also need to have completed a number of undergraduate courses before they start the programs. So these are the prerequisites for the MBA program here at Elmhurst College. So you need to have the financial accounting, managerial accounting, finance, marketing, management, and global business environment. Now, if you take a look at the slide, you realize that we have the asterisk beside financial accounting, managerial accounting, and finance, which means that these are 3 definite prerequisites that you have to meet. If you have taken them as an undergrad, when we do the transcript evaluation, we will let you know if you have already met this particular requirement. If you have not taken these classes as an undergrad, you will have to complete them prior to the start of the program. Now, you can take these classes at a local community college. You can take them at a 4-year institution. And if you want, the Office of Adult and Graduate Admissions also offer online prep courses for each one of these classes, i.e. the financial accounting, managerial accounting, and finance. If you're interested in these online prep courses, feel free to contact the Office of Adult and Graduate Admission. When it comes to the marketing, management, and global business environment, we do not have a firm requirement on those classes. We will make recommendation in terms of the books that you will need to read, because without that, a lot of people that have work experience can relate to those and they can pick them up pretty quickly, but not when it comes to financial accounting, managerial accounting, and finance. So as I mentioned before, there are a few ways for you to meet your prerequisites. So at this point in time, that sort of concludes my presentation on the MBA program here at Elmhurst College, I would just like to know if there is any questions from our participants.
And feel free to type in those questions in the question box on your display box for the webinar. We'll get a little notification and be able to answer them as they come in.
Okay, I think we have a question here regarding the admission requirement, and the question has to do with how come Elmhurst College does not require the GMAT score. Well, the reason we do not require the GMAT score is because without that, the GMAT exam might not really reflect the ability of our students, because yes, you do need math skills, but you don't really need to know how to do trigonometry. You don't need to really know how to do geometry. You need to basically know some basic algebras, okay, for some of the classes. So we don't think that, or we don't feel that the GMAT is a true indicator of the ability of our students. More importantly, what we do have as part of the admission process is a one-on-one interview with the program director and the candidate. Without that, the one-on-one interview will give us better insight into the candidate in terms of their abilities, in terms of their passion, interest, and whether the program is a good fit for them and whether they are a good fit for the program. And we also rely heavily on the statements provided by the students and also the letter of recommendations. But one of the things that we do use, we do adapt from the GMAT exam will be the writing analysis, because that will give us an idea in terms of what level of writing the candidate has. Any other question?
Just as a follow-up, you will be receiving an application packet with more details about the MBA program. In that packet will be the application itself, along with the other requirements that come along with that. If you are thinking about applying, as Dr. Wan mentioned, the program does start in the fall. We do have 3 letters of recommendation that we look for with that application. We, of course, want official sealed transcripts from your bachelor's degree and any other college that you may have attended. And then there are 2 writing samples that we're looking for. They're detailed in the MBA brochure, and they're also on the website. There are 2 different business situations we want you to respond to, and some questions that we'd like you to do a written response. Generally, we're looking for about 1,000 words on that. So complete applications, our preferred deadline roughly is May 1st, but we do accept them on a rolling basis.
So we have another question. How come the Elmhurst College MBA program only required 10 classes to complete the program, whereas some of the other schools have quite a few more? Now, the reason we have only 10 classes instead of 16 is because of the cohort approach that we have in the first year. Traditionally, MBA programs are really not designed for students with an undergraduate degree in business. So a lot of people going back to the MBA program are attorneys, doctors, engineers, because they want to continue to move up. And as they move up, they realize that they are going to be managing people and managing resources. So they felt like they need to go back to school and acquire those skills. Now, because of that, a lot of schools will have about 16 classes, with the first few classes in basic business areas like business management, basic accounting, basic finance, and so on and so forth. Now, what that means is if a student doesn't have these classes as an undergrad, they will have to take these intro-level classes. Whereas if a student come in with a business degree, they will generally be waived, so they don't have to take these classes. Now, because of the cohort environment, we need to have all our students starting at the same time. So in order for us to do that, everyone has to have certain minimum understanding of key business areas like accounting and finance and management and marketing. So instead of building these classes into our program and then have students that never had them as an undergrad take them and then let students that had them already as an undergrad waive them, we basically make them as prerequisites. So if you have them, then you met our requirement. If you have not taken these classes, then you will need to take them before you come in. So if you take these so-called prerequisite classes and add the 10 classes that you have to have in the MBA program, that basically make up what a traditional MBA program will have, about 16 classes. Any other question?
All right. Well, I'll be sending you some email follow-up with our contact information. You're welcome to email myself. Again, my name is Tim Alberg. I'm the Assistant Director of Adult and Graduate Enrollment, or Dr. Wan with any further questions. We'll be having an on-campus information session as well on March 10th this spring. So if you would like to come and see the school or something along those lines, you can do that then. Or you can set up an individual visit with myself. But in the meantime, if there's no other questions, feel free to email us. And thank you so much for attending today. Have a great day.